What is going on, everybody? I'm Jabby Kuwait, joined by Char Curry.
What's up?
We've got the trailer here to Napoleon. Now, fun fact about Jabby Kuwait, I have been watching a lot of YouTube history stuff. I've taken an interest in it way more than I ever have when I was a kid. I don't know what that's about. I guess as you get older, you just become curious about things.
That's true, actually.
And so, yeah, I've been watching all kinds of stuff. And I actually decided to watch some Napoleon in advance to this, and I only just found out this morning that he invaded Egypt. And so that's pretty wild. And even the first frame, it looks like a very deserty background landscape. So I can imagine that this will cover some of that. Anyway, you guys, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications, and pretty please vote this up. Let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. This is directed by Ridley Scott and it stars Joaquin Phoenix. Very exciting team. Here we go.
Wow. Okay. Vive la
No doubt you've seen the chaos in the streets. We must make an example, or France will fall.
What would you do if this assignment of defense was transferred to you?
I promise you brilliant successes.
Interesting music choice.
Yeah.
What is this costume you have on?
This is my uniform. I led the French victory at Toulon.
What is your name?
Napoleon.
As the course of my life just changed. Napoleon.
Right. Oh, that's so
I'm
interesting.
destined for greatness. But those in power
Wow.
only see me as a sword.
I suggest you take the throne
As a king.
Shall we vote?
This vermin has held the world hostage.
Wow.
With his egotism and his lack of simple good manners.
You think you're great. You are just a tiny little brute that is nothing without me.
All of Europe is uniting forces against me.
What's the outcome of this if you don't succeed?
Your Majesty, we are discovered. Good.
Oh, shit.
I'm the first to admit when I make a mistake.
Damn.
I simply never do.
It seems like they're getting a lot of things like on point, like accurate in terms of like, well, at least what I watched this morning. I have a very limited knowledge, but like what little Cliff Notes information I got from these YouTube videos that are designed for people like me who have a shorter attention span. It seems like they got some things right, like, or a lot of it right, I should say.
Apart from his age.
Well, his age is the only thing, like, because he does not look 24 years old.
I know, because you were watching these videos and I was listening to them in the background this morning. And the first thing they said was when he was in Egypt doing that whole thing, which they showed.
Yeah.
Or like in Toulon as well.
Toulon, he was 24 years old. Yeah, Toulon is where it
Yeah.
all started for him, and that's where he really like made a name for himself, and he like had some very interesting strategy to move the forces out of there. It was all like brilliant tactics.
But he was still really young, and that was the whole thing. And like
20, he was 28 when he did Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to me that in real life, right, he was someone who I would imagine like has a lot of ingenuity and he had the energy of a young man. But here we've got a brilliant actor in Joaquin Phoenix who's bringing all of his talent to this.
Yeah.
But obviously he's much older.
Right.
But it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Yeah. One of the interesting things about Napoleon, like it just blew my mind that at 28 years old, he was, leading his first, I forgot what the terminology is in Italy, but that was like the first thing
Campaign?
his first campaign in Northern Italy. And he just had such crazy confidence. the whole thing with the guillotine, that was like one of the first things that one of the history videos I watched this morning mentioned was like how that was just part of the whole.
Well, yeah, because
scene.
it was the end of the monarchy, right? And so the Republic was coming in. Yeah, it was a really interesting and bloody time in French history. It's so fascinating that Ridley Scott has decided to direct and tell this story.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're such a good team because I really enjoyed Gladiator.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
I mean, it won Joaquin Phoenix. Didn't he win? Oh no, he didn't win that year, but it was like one of those things where it became such a memorable performance.
Yeah, and he was so good. And so when I saw that he was doing this and it was Ridley Scott, immediately I couldn't help but think of Gladiator. And I mean, I think that pairing is great. Ridley Scott does do some really good kind of historical, massive, epic dramas, or maybe just one, but I enjoyed it a lot.
He did not win for Best Supporting Actor on Gladiator. I just wanted to make sure I got my facts right. So he didn't win on that one. One of the fascinating things about not just Napoleon, but the French at that time was their obsession with who they could be compared to, especially on their boat ride to Egypt. Mm-hmm. There were arguments apparently about like who they were more like, the Roman Empire or this empire or Alexander the Great's empire and all that stuff. It's just fascinating. I'm wondering how much of that they're going to include, because that's all very like, you know, little details and nuances that maybe most people don't care about.
Yeah, but what was interesting to me was what they were talking about, which I wonder if they will bring up in this movie here, was how a lot of his tactics, especially with the propaganda and promoting I guess like acceptance and leniency towards different cultures to kind of infiltrate, and also the fact that he was going in and instilling new leaders and disrupting regimes, which is very similar to tactics that
employed today.
That are employed today. I wonder if they'll kind of mention that at all.
The idea of respecting their religion, I don't know how long that actually lasted, because he was just kind of using that as a tactic to
get in.
You know, well, not just that, but to pin people against each other as needed.
But I liked what they showed here in the trailer where he tricked the Brits to
multiple times
to get on the ice.
Yeah.
And then decidedly blew it all up, which was an ingenious trap. It seems that he was a master tactician and he wasn't afraid of kind of doing things differently,
right?
Which makes him such an intriguing figure in history.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though I like Joaquin Phoenix a lot, I do kind of wish they had picked someone younger to age, like with makeup and all that stuff, into the role. Meaning, like you can watch their progress, or like de-age him more, because he does not look 24 at all. However, maybe back then, 24 looked like 40. So I don't actually know how old Joaquin Phoenix is, but I know he's now 24.
Yeah.
And so. But yeah, like it would have been cool to have someone young and fresh kind of do that. Like, what's his name? Not Joel Edgerton. Who's the guy from The Kingsman?
Oh, Taron
Egerton. Yeah, like someone like him, or anybody else who's younger and very well equipped in the acting department. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But it almost feels like a revisiting of the role from Gladiator in the way that Joaquin Phoenix is performing this.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't help but think about it. But I am excited about Vanessa Kirby as well, playing his wife. Mm-hmm. She has like a really interesting strength and coldness about her that she's bringing to the character.
Yeah.
And I love that bit where she was like, you'd be nothing without me. Because it wasn't it like she was an instrumental part in his rise to power, because she came from a powerful family.
That's right. He married someone who was very politically connected, exactly. Thank you.
Yes.
Words today. I love the look of this so far. It feels like they really brought the world to life, and Apple spent good money to make that happen. Very excited to see it in its full form and glory. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hit the subscribe button, please, bell icon, all notifications, vote this up. I'm Jabby Koway. This is
Achara Cook.
Peace out.